So this is a dimension table. Okay. Now we will come back to this. So dimension tables are mostly like, lookup tables, which you use to actually look up one kind of data. So if you have a product ID in your order data, so if somebody places an order, there is a product ID in that row, okay, in that Excel sheet, wherever it's getting tracked. And that product ID, you're mapping it, you're using a lookup to look it up in the product table. And okay, this is the ID, the details of that product matching that ID, I want to fetch those also. And in your dashboard, you'll see that, okay, most orders placed for this product category. Is that all in one table? No, it's using a lookup, using that maybe that one primary key. So what is the primary key? Primary key is nothing but, you can see store ID is the primary key here, which means that it is a column that is common in both the tables that you are using to link the tables. Okay. So if store ID is ABC123, look for location data, store ID ABC123, and then find the corresponding stores, city, country, and region. Okay, that's how a lookup works. It's exactly similar as a VLOOKUP in Excel. If you have heard of VLOOKUP in Excel, it's a very important function. If you don't know VLOOKUP, please make sure you know VLOOKUP by the end of today. You'll use a lot of VLOOKUP in your data analysis world. Now, this is a relationship which is already present. Okay, store ID is mapped to store ID. And similarly, product ID or product data should also be mapped, but you see that it's not currently mapped. So let me quickly open up product data and that Excel sheet. So if you can see this, let me wait for that chat to open up. I mean the Excel sheet to open up. Okay, so if you see the Excel sheet, it has SKU code, category, subcategory, brand, and product. It has all of those headers here. But if you look at the data over here, it says column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, right? Something really weird going on here. Let me go back, take a look at product data. How can I take a look at this product data in more detail, the data source editor, right? So let me go back to the Power Query editor. So I'm in the home tab. I can see this edit queries. You will see something different in your transform data or whatever it is, but I'm going to do that. Click on edit queries. Again, you don't need to go back and do this right now. You can pay attention to the zoom. So I clicked on edit queries. Now I came here and I look at sales data. It seems to have the right column headers. I look at product data. I see that product data, due to some reason, it hasn't taken the first row as headers. Okay, now I don't know what was the reason exactly. It's how Power BI works by default. Maybe there's an answer to this. I haven't gone really into finding that answer, but this first row hasn't been promoted as headers. That's why you're seeing column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and column 5. So what I'm going to do right now is promote this as headers. How can I do that? There's an option in transform where it says use first row as headers. Okay, so I'm going to use first row as headers. And what happened is I find that now it is promoted to headers. And just like you remember how you saw it yesterday, there's these 2 steps that got added. One is, the headers were promoted, and by default, when a header gets promoted, it changes the data type into what it should be. So all of this is ABC or alphabetical. So ABC is technically text data type. Okay. Now what do I need to do? I need to close and apply. I can either close from here or close and apply over here. So there are multiple options. I just apply the changes. It's like, just save the changes, do some more changes, save it, do some more, save it. Or I can all close and apply all together at once. So I just close and applied. There are some, so you'll see this, error when it is getting processed, and then that pop-up came, it processed. So now it's all processed. What do you see different? It's all there in the exercise file. You'll be able to do it. Now the new thing you can notice is SKU code versus SKU code. There is another mapping now. And why did that not happen before? Can you answer? Why did that, Maninder? Yeah, because of the heading wasn't matching, right? And that's what Power BI does. It tries to look for, there is some set of checks it does. Basically, it looks for, okay, is there a column name that is matching a column name? Is it having the same data type? It look at the first few rows to identify the data type, it's like take a sample first 10 rows or 100 rows or whatever. That's all in the backend, what happens. But that's what it does basically. And then if it sees a similar column with similar data, then it creates that relationship so that your tables won't work as standalone or separate tables. They will work together and they will have those connections in between. So this is the connection. Now you see another, symbol over here which says star, and there's this one. What? Yeah, it's a many-to-one relationship, right? So many-to-one relationship means that the sales data, for example, for this SKU code. And what is SKU? SKU is a term in retail that you will see a lot. It is stock keeping unit. It's just like every type of product will have a stock keeping unit, which is like just like a product ID. One type of shoes will have a product ID, another same shoes of a different size will have another product ID, possibly. It's different in how different brands manage it. But SKU code is the code for that product. Okay. Now, why do you see multiple values of the same SKU code in sales data, but only one value of that SKU code in product data? Okay. Here's the example. ABC123 is a SKU code. There are multiple values of that in sales data, but there's only one value of that in product data. Why is that? Because, again, I'm going to answer this very quickly in the interest of time. In your sales data, if you look at, for example, this mobile phone, if you can see my video, this mobile phone has a particular SKU ID, but there are many different mobile phones like this that are there in the store. For each of those sale item, you will find one row with that SKU code or that product ID every time this mobile phone gets sold. But in your product data, this is one type of product. It will have, okay, this is the product ID for OnePlus 60. And this is the product attributes. It is of this category, mobile phone, brand is OnePlus, subcategory is whatever it is. Okay, but do you get what I'm trying to say? So the product data will only have one row of data for that, but the sales data will have multiple. That's where you have a many-to-one relationship. Here also it's a many-to-one relationship because store ID, for every transaction made in that store, there will be multiple row ID. Let's look at a simple example here right now. So I'm going to look at this relationship that was already created. One of the things that I can do is I can double click on this relationship and I can see the edit relationship box coming up. So I just double clicked on that line. Please come back to the Zoom if you're not on Zoom. I just double clicked on that line and I can see there is a relationship between sales data and product data. And I can see the highlighted column, which is the SKU code in both, which is the primary key that is used. And there is cardinality and cross filter direction. So what is cardinality? Cardinality is nothing but the many-to-one or the one-to-one or the one-to-many or the many-to-many relationship, the different types of relationships that are possible. So for that particular, for that particular column, if you have any value that is multiple ones in there, it will have many, and if it's only appearing once in this table, you'll have a many-to-one. Similarly, one-to-one, one-to-many, and all of that. There's something called as cross-filter direction, and this is where I'll be talking a bit more about star schema. Cross-filter direction is where when you apply a filter on one of the dimension tables, should it translate to the other dimension table also? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint really quick here. Here's an example. If you can see the PowerPoint screen, here's an example of how a star schema looks like. Star schema is a schema which is a data model, which is a set of tables which has one fact table or a metric table at the center. Okay, and why is it called a fact table? Because the units sold and the revenue, these are the key metrics that are there, and that's where it is housed. All of the others will have only dimensions and no metrics in there. Okay, all of these are only dimensions. So there's a date table, there's a product table, there's a branch table, and there's also a dealer table. Now in this kind of a relationship, when you are creating this kind of a relationship in Power BI, if you want a filter that's applied here in this dimension table, on this dealer ID, if you want that filter to also get applied on this dimension table, that's when you will use cross filter direction as both. In both directions, it will work as a filter. If it is single, then what will happen is, when I apply a filter for example, dealer ID is ABC123, then for that particular data, it will get filtered in this table, but it won't get filtered in any of the other tables. That's where a single direction filter will not work. But in a star schema, it's always preferred to have bidirectional filtering, which is like filter in both directions. Okay. By the way, if you're not getting this concept very clearly, it's fine. I mean, it's not something that will stop you from doing anything. You won't, unless you're very much into data modeling, you may not need to understand this also. But just because it's there, I'm explaining this a bit more in detail to you. Okay, so I'm not going to explain that one more time, because compared to the other topics that we want to discuss, it's not that important, so you don't need to worry about it. And most of the time Power BI will determine this by default, looking at the data, and it will do it on its own. So unless you want to change it for some specific purpose, you don't want to go and change it. It has that intelligence to do it on its own. So this is cardinality, and in cross filter there is single and both direction. If I choose both direction, any filter on one dimension table will apply on other dimension tables also in a star schema. Okay, so that's about how I can edit the relationship. How can I delete this relationship, right? One thing I can do is I can disable the active, make this relationship active. I just disabled it. That's one way I can do it. The other way I can do it is I just right click and delete. So if I hover over that line, right click and delete, I can delete that relationship. So I just deleted the relationship between sales and product data manually. Okay, I want to create the relationship again. What is the simplest way I can do, right? This is very important, and this is very simple. I have a SKU code here. I have a SKU code here. How do I map that? I just click on the SKU code. Please pay attention to the Zoom screen if you're not on the Zoom. I clicked on the SKU code, dragged and dropped it over this SKU code. And you see a relationship. See, and it by default determines it's a one-to-many, and it determines this as a single direction. That's the single arrow mark. If I use, for example, let's try and use a bi-directional or a cross filter direction both, you see two directional arrows, which is the both directions. So which means that a single directional filter works in a way that a filter that applies here will work here, but the filter that's applied here will not work over the other. But bi-directional means the filters on any will apply in both directions. Okay, so I'm going to change it back to single now, which is how it was previously, and let's not play around with that a lot unless we want to play around with that, right, for any specific use case. But this is how a relationship looks like. Now I want to make this look a bit more like, I can change it around and, maybe make this look a bit more simpler. When there are a lot more tables, then probably I have to do it like, if I have 3 more tables, I can create something that looks like a star schema. I can move things around. When I click on these 3 options, there are options like manage relationships, all of this. I can hide in report view. So I can hide this in report view. What does it do? It shows a hidden symbol here, but it's not really hidden. It's still visible, right? But it's hidden in report view. So when I go back to report view, I see only 2 tables. I don't see the third table because it's hidden. It's only there in the backend. If there is a table that you don't want to see in the backend, you can hide it. So if I unhide it, go back to my view, now I see all 3. Okay. So that's how I can hide. There's also something called as manage relationship. So what does this manage relationships do? And that's also available here in the toolbar. Like I said yesterday, anything that you are doing has multiple ways of doing it. There are different ways, through the tab, through the, these different tabs, through right clicking and other keyboard shortcuts also maybe. So if I go to manage relationships, what I will see is I will see all the relationships that are existing in this data model. So how many relationships are there? There's one. So there are 2. All those 2 you will see over here. And so if I can go into any of this by double clicking it, or I can click on one, select one, and I can click edit. Okay, and I can create a new relationship manually. Okay, so different ways to create new relationship. I can go to here, create new, or I can just drag and drop and create a new relationship. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete both of these relationships. So I delete and I delete this. So I just deleted all the relationships. Okay, now I'm going to go to manage relationships, and I see there are no relationships defined here because I just deleted all of them. And I click on auto detect, found new relationships, close, and you find that exact same relationships are recreated now by Power BI. So this is the auto detect step, which is by default happens when you load a table, which you saw at the starting, right? There was already a auto detect that happened, and one relationship was defined. We went back and fixed the column data for the other one, and the other relationship also got defined. So that's how your basic modeling works. Some of the options in basic modeling. Then there are a few other options here. If you look at it, you know, these are options. These are primarily for, you know, the report view. So we will come to that later. But if I go to the modeling tab, I can see these few options here. For example, you know, manage relationships. This is from a security row level, something called as row level security. You can read a bit more about it. Again, that's out of scope for this. So I'm not going to talk about that. There's also Q&A setup that you can use, you know, like natural language Q&A and a couple of other options. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail around those, but this is how you can do your basic steps on related